the Democrats and Governor Malloy see as shared sacrifice. It's a term that's sort of a warmed over term that makes us all feel good, like, well, we have to do it, right? We all have to share in the sacrifice. It's a lot of sacrifice for people to be sharing in a state where we haven't created one new net job since 1989. But I think we all know that state government has grown exponentially over the years, especially since the income tax was implemented in 1991. And yet the people paying for state government, that pool has shrunk. We haven't created a new net job since 1989. The same base of people are paying for an ever-increasing size of government. And it's bad. It's really bad out there. Connecticut is ranked as one of the worst states in the country in which to do business. You know, for all the talk of we're going to take a road less traveled, which Governor Malloy said, or we're going to have a more enlightened policy on taxes and spending, that enlightened policy is going to cost us all a lot more money and cost a lot of people their jobs. 3,000 jobs are projected to leave from Stamford, Connecticut, where Governor Malloy is from UBS. They're going to close their facility in Connecticut, the largest trading floor in the world, and move that facility to Manhattan. Think about that for a minute. If Manhattan is a more attractive place in which to do business than Connecticut, that means something's wrong. So I think what Governor Malloy is planning on is the economy improving, and he's got more revenue so he can say, well, we're going to cut taxes. It's not going to happen. We hear a lot in the news right now about the layoffs, right? The potential state employee layoffs. And we could probably all have a debate about that right now, whether we think they should be laid off, whether they shouldn't, whether they should concede, whether they shouldn't. But for so many years, the people that we've sort of ignored or not heard so much about in the media are the people in the private sector who have lost their jobs or had their hours cut back. We have the highest energy costs in the country. And what did we do this year? Instead of making it a better environment in which to do business, the state of Connecticut passed, first state in the country to pass paid sick leave. Every employer with a service employee over 50 employees has to provide 5 days of paid sick leave. It is an incredible cost to businesses. It's something that we all would like to do. Of course, we all think that people, you get sick, you shouldn't have to go to work, or you're sick and you got kids at home, you shouldn't have to go to work. Of course, in a perfect world, that's what we should do. But we can't afford it. Businesses in this state cannot afford it. And we are becoming less competitive with every bill that we pass like that. So for all the talk of jobs, and we're going to make this the job session, it didn't happen. My caucus and I, the House Republican caucus, crafted a no-tax increase alternative to what the governor proposed. Now, for so many years, people would say, well, the Republicans in Hartford are in the minority and they don't have any juice, and all they do is say no, 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 but they don't have an alternative. And you know what? We recognize that. We recognize that people said, well, if you don't like this idea, then what's your idea, right? Makes sense. What's your idea? We spent hours and hours and hours pouring through the budget, line by line, things I didn't even know existed in the state budget that we found. And we decided to cut those things out so that we can present a credible, a legitimately credible, no-tax increase alternative to what the governor and the Democrats had proposed. Surprisingly, it was voted down, of course, by the majority party, but we have at least something on the table that shows this is how we would have done it. We don't like what you did, and this is what we would have done if we had the votes. And as time goes on, of course, the public has started to sign on and recognize that things are out of control here in the state of Connecticut. And they really, truly signed on to our budget proposal. People call in and they talk about it. They say, why? Why do we have to do it this way? Why do we have to pay taxes on these things? Why are we still financing our political campaigns with taxpayers' dollars, yet my sales tax went up from 6 to 6.35%? Or why are we sending DSS payments to the tune of tens of millions of dollars to dead people, which is true, when my income tax just went up? And we all could think, if I went around this room right now and said, give me an idea of where you think there's waste in state government, every single one of you could come up with something, and every single one of you would probably be right, that we should cut out everything that's not absolutely necessary. It doesn't mean we're throwing people out in the street, throwing people out of nursing homes, closing schools, or shredding the safety net that so many people who can't take care of themselves rely on. That's not what it means. You all know people who didn't vote or who don't get what's going on in Hartford. Talk to them. 6,500 votes would have changed the course of direction here in the state of Connecticut. I would argue for the better. Talk to them. Be engaged. Be active. I have never seen the public more active and engaged in what's going on in state government than I do right now. And we need to continue that trend in the next 2 to 4 years so that we can turn the state around. We've got a lot of great assets. We live, in a beautiful state with a high quality of living, near the beach, near New York, near Boston, talented workforce. We have a lot of good things going for us. But one thing we don't have going for us, and maybe the most important, is the economy.